Okay, so here's what was started in the last year and a half. The head of this housing co-op, and it goes back to what John says, is a businessman. So he runs the, let me see what time I'm at. Got exactly 10 minutes, no problem. He runs the pharmacy. He knows business. He cares about business, and he put himself in there as the chair. On that board is a plumber, a carpenter, a real estate agent, a young mother. I sit as an advisory person on that co-op board, but it's like bringing the best you can to that board, so you're really mobilizing the championing of how housing might work in our community. When we're up against a golf course, international people flying in on their private jets, seeing this as the most beautiful place in the world, thinking nothing of $250,000, well, that could break my bank. And we have to work rather quickly now. So this has been started to develop high quality affordable. You know, you always hear affordable housing. High quality affordable. The best housing we can build, long-term affordable. The best housing envelope with the best resources to actually service that. Solar, hot water. Bioenergy, we can use a district heating system. Anyways, and the second piece is to develop a land base that we hold in trust for the long-term interests of the communities. It doesn't go back on the market once it's in our demand. So those municipal lands, remember the blue one? We're going to have that as part of what we control because it's our land. It's municipal land. It's not theirs. We are all citizens in Inverness County. Bill and Maggie will be part owners of that land, and hopefully that benefits what they do as they grow into seniors. To foster an increased level of innovation and collaboration and leadership in engineering, design, trade skills, and local industry. So people can get experience of what it is to retrofit one of the company homes and scale it. People know what it is to build high-quality envelope construction, add the solar, and then we can scale it across the whole county. And the last one is to instill confidence and accountability in developing a local investment business model. Bottom line is trust, right? The co-ops are collaboration and trust, right? It's not rocket science, but you got to know people. Like, you got to have trust. If we're going to actually invest in each other, it's got to be built on relationships. That's why we bump into each other, by having town halls and doing things together. Okay, can we flip it over to the housing one? Because I'm going to flip through the Sheehan Housing Co-op so you can see what we've done so far. And then I'll go back. I'm doing this morning on the way up here. And just a word of caution. Because this morning I drove out through Bedeck, and just before Nyanza, did anyone come up that way since? Anyways, there was a horrific accident. There's like 5 vehicles, there's trucks in the ditch, and I hit it like right after it happened. There was enough cars stopped that they were still letting us through. But I'm in shock. Like, I'm really in shock when those things happen to any of us. So really, this is the second time in that little stretch that there's been fatalities. And so I was really rattled coming up here today. So it's kind of a moment where I'm trying to take stock of my own mortality. So this is Inverness, the top of Hillcrest Extension. Those are homes built in the 1970s by CMHC, 2x4 construction, moldy basements on really poor, not blaming anyone, but it wasn't really well done and they're horrible. So the reason we're doing this is there's a lack of affordable housing in the middle income bracket. That's how you attract families of young children. They may be making $50K a year, right? One has a seasonal job, one has a full-time job, but you can't afford the $300,000 unit, can you? Second thing is existing housing is falling to disrepair. I can show you pictures of the company homes that are just like sagging roofs and chimneys falling over. And then aging population and exodus of youth. So we've got to get this downsizing seniors who could provide equity, right? A downsizing senior can provide $300,000 equity that may be able to support a young family going up. But we have to create that trust mechanism. The last thing is no clear vision or strategic plan for the future of Inverness. And what's been happening? So we've been working on these 4 broad areas: housing, a local economy, diversity and integration of healthy living in terms of food security, and supportive framework. In other words, getting back to how we organize ourselves to make decisions. Those are 4 broad areas: housing, local economy, investing in ourselves, looking at food, and all those other local economies are important, and governance, how we make decisions. I'm not the one who makes decisions, I'm just the municipal councillor that takes the lead from you. We prioritize. Where are we now? We got the Rural Innovation Fund. We had $48,500 to get this established. We had a wonderful guy, Conrad Taves from St. Joseph, Des Moines, who did most of the design work and helped to establish this. We set up the co-op. We've got some strategic partnerships. We looked at these 4 things in changing the housing solution. So the larger profile was looking at Inverness, the governance, the energy strategy we might incorporate, how the economy's working, what resources we can bring there, the municipality supplying the land. Once again, as the equity John talked about, that's a partnership we've already talked about. How will that shift the ownership of the land in the community making the decision? Second one is you're looking at the town planning, all the zoning, what's the housing stock, what's the demographic, roads, sewers, water, power. The reason we're looking at this chunk of land right here is municipal. This is the arena here. That's the school. It's got service right there. It's 1.7 acres. Then we're looking at the actual shaping the housing solution. So we worked with a community. This winter we had a housing workshop where we looked at how we'd lay it out so people could be happy with the parking, happy with the shape of the land, whether there was a commons land. So it's not co-housing per se. It's a design that then gets sold to the community based on the best ideas that came around. So it's not like we're the 7 investors, this is what we want, but we took like 20 people, they gave us their best ideas, and we came up with some solutions. And so there you have the arena. This is Win Myra Seniors Home, and they looked at something like that. The actual home kind of looks like that. People kind of look like that. The house is a passive solar. It's for downsizing senior, has everything on 1 floor, bedroom, kitchen, living room. Upstairs you have 2 bedrooms so you can bring your family back home. There they go. They're all happy. Next step, we're now applied to the Rural Innovation Fund to get a staff to actually drive the business plan forward. Okay, that's it. Now I'm back to my final bunch of slides. Because I like to end with a little bit of challenge for us all. And the challenge is not housing, co-op housing, it's how we work together. You know, it's how we work together. No matter if it's the early years, we need food security, we need energy systems that are locally driven. We've got to start to imagine that we're part of this process and it's not someone else's job. And I know we all in here do believe that, but in a broad context. That's good, I can flip forward from there. You're so good, Alicia, thank you. Okay, back. So to look is one thing, and to see what you look at is another. To understand what you see is a third, and to learn what you understand is still something else, and that's what we're trying to do in the community, because thinking is doing. Don't get caught thinking we have to go out there and drive the nails first, but thinking is doing. But to actually act on what you learn is all that really matters. So here's what life's really like, though, isn't it? Most communities can often be compared to a football game where 30,000 people who need the exercise turn up to watch 36 who don't. So as a rule of thumb, we involve everybody in everything. If the grade 7 class wants to get involved in this, you involve the grade 7 class. If the seniors need a ride down from the seniors, you involve them. Equity means it's a flat playing field. If you need childcare involved, to involve people, have childcare involved. I'm not saying it's perfect, but in most of the work we've done, we've tried to make it a fair place for people to engage. And here's one of my teachers, and Meg Wheatley says there's no greater power for change, greater than a community discovering what it cares about. And this is a beautiful picture, and this is Meg Wheatley's book. And you look at this power of change. This is a picture done on a piece of cardboard. This was done in a desert, and all she had is some white chalk and pencil and these flowers that she found in the desert. Well, what you imagine creating in a community if you actually focused on what you wanted to do? So the story of beauty will change the world, not duty. So this isn't like hitting ourselves over the head, but think about how we work together as being part of that beauty. And I love this one. It's I can't save the world on my own. It'll take at least 3 of us. And we work together. We don't always agree, but we work together. And I always remind the community that when I'm working with them. We need to continue to work together. We don't always agree. Sometimes it really gets hot. But step back and remember this is all we've got. We can't import some guru. No one's going to save us here. It's about us. And I love this quote. It doesn't look like it's all on there. Anyways, it doesn't matter then. I love it. It's a great quote. But the end one of this is a Hopi quote saying that the time of the individual wolf, the lone wolf, is over. It's time to jump in the river, let go of what you think you know, and be ready to go and find each other. But the last thing is that all that we do now must be done in a sacred manner and in celebration, for we are the ones we have been waiting for. And last one, collaborate or die.